actually from New Hampshire, so doing a little sabbatical here. And yeah, so I'm gonna read two poems and one what I just learned was a lyrical essay, but it's a short one. So this first one. This first one is called Beneath. My mind soars over a landscape outside and within. My body a topographical map of freckles and stretch marks stretching toward purpose that can only be found nestled in the quiet of sleeping autumn leaves, of stubborn fungi grasping to the remnants of warm summer days, bracing for the cold that will pluck them from the earth in the coming days and in the coming months that seem to span lifetimes of life reborn and life laid to rest until the ground thaws beneath. This one is called Ivory Queen. I watched as the other asparagus shoots sprang up toward the sun, just like all our lily cousins plucked for the grassy inclination. I nuzzled the earth instead, deep inside its soil, befriending the worms who swam around me sightless, yet they too sensed the light above. Chubby with milky white spears, I didn't know why the more I reached upward, the more dirt surrounded me. A lifelong funeral, it seemed. Every day another burial, although I never received any flowers. They asked me, "Why are you so pedantic, sparrowgrass, meddling around in the dirt like that? Don't you believe in the power of photosynthesis?" I didn't know what I believed in, and I'm not sure I know now either. "Blanche," they called me, "thank you for the lift," as they climbed my rungs to penetrate the soil's surface above. "Anytime." I awoke one morning from my pale slumber to clammy fingers, brushing the dirt away from behind my ears, digging around my stalk, an excavation of sorts, an exhumation of the life I built underground. Once these fingers reached the end of my root, I felt myself rushing upward. Am I ready for this? I thought, flattening my leaves as I felt the dirt fall away and felt the light pour into me, squirming as I wriggled free from the soil. "Dot East Sea," I heard someone exclaim. "There she is," they repeated, blowing away the excess dirt caked onto my stalk as they held me in their hands. As my eyes began to adjust, I heard the sounds of other people huddled around, looking at me. "This is our Ivory Queen," said the voice holding me. "We've been waiting 8 weeks for her arrival, and she's finally here." Ivory Queen? I looked down at my bloodless stalk, my porous bones drinking in the warmth I thought was only meant for others. "She is white asparagus, our springtime delicacy," the voice declared, raising me ever upward, cupped in their hands. "What if I burn?" I mused. "But what if you don't?" asked a voice from deep in my trunk. Thank you. This last piece is called "Were They Playing in the Graveyard?" I glanced back, children skipping and jumping right next to the church. I wondered if the bodies below felt the thumping of their little feet, tapping a song of springtime jubilation. I wondered if I wanted a casket when my coffin days came into view. Wondered whether I'd like to snow white myself in the forest, minus the 7 little men. I wondered if I'd rather give myself up to the trees, to the mushrooms that love to poke their heads up in the spring. I wondered what it was like to die. I hoped for an all-encompassing peace to wash over me and carry me away, a soul-howling escape. I imagined a lotus blooming from the moon, twisting and stretching outward like rays of sunshine, or a space beam strong enough to pull the soul right out of me. I wondered what the earth would look like when I departed. Would it still have luscious blankets of green, crowning mountains posed like giant Viking warriors? And what of the bees? Would they go extinct? I wondered if I'd ever have kids, if the world would hold out for them, or if it would plummet into another ice age, push the reset button on humanity, understandably. We jacked up the planet, treating her as some overly caffeinated college student just pushing to get to the next day, acting like it's all temporary. I wondered about sustainable change and how if a global pandemic couldn't bring us together, maybe a meteor could. Would we all just submit to our fiery deaths like the dinosaurs, placing our plastic bags over our heads? What an ironic end. I remember dreaming of this once, but I sat on my rocky island of stilts watching the sky rain down on me. I wondered if my stardust would find that of my family and friends, if maybe we could build stars together, or maybe coexist in the depths of Saturn's rings. I wondered if stardust could whisper stories in the vacuum of space, and if those stories could be carried within the tails of comets trying to find their way home 4.6 billion years after the formation of our solar system. I wondered what extraterrestrial life looked like and if we'd ever see it. I've always thought it was naive to believe that we are the only beings in this universe. It seems incredibly and logically unrealistic that we are the only ones. As of 2020, researchers estimate that there are about 2 trillion observable galaxies in our universe. That is an awful lot of galaxies for us to believe that we are the only life forms capable of complex thoughts. Sometimes I wish we were all still nomads, tramping around the land, letting go of our digital lives we've invested in. What is it about your late 20s that makes you feel like Neo from the Matrix, constantly peeling back the veneer on a society crafted to please, to shame for profit, to drug, to produce, to encourage procreation and overpopulation, to cage and keep complacent? But I guess that's only one lens, the one I've chosen to look through, though I'm working to adopt another view, one with magenta dahlias unfurling, of black cat chickadees singing, of ancient trees listening and growing, of finding softness in the mossy parts of my heart that usually flourish after the snow melts, and tending to the garden within. Thank you all.